I first fell in love with Quince for their cashmere, and now I'm just as hooked on their home collection. From super soft sheets and spa-worthy towels to handcrafted furniture and stylish decor, every piece from Quince makes my home feel warmer and more elevated for fall. And speaking of the fall, I've got pumpkins galore, and I have also outfitted my bed in such a cozy way using the oversized lumbar set of 2 pillows from Quince. They're 12 by 48, which we absolutely love. A long lumbar across your bed is the perfect way to accent it, and it's 100% cotton velvet with a lovely knife finish, and it comes in 6 colors. Quince is everything you need to bring that warm seasonal upgrade to your home. I'm so impressed with the finishes from Quince. The linens feel luxe, the silk curtains look high-end, and the materials are built to last. By partnering directly with ethical factories and top artisans, Quince cuts out the middleman to deliver premium quality at half the cost of other high-end brands. Elevate your space this fall with beautiful home essentials from Quince. Go to quince.com/DTT for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/DTT to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/DTT. These things will not pass the threshold. Hey everybody, I'm Kelly Wilkniss here with Anita Joyce, and this is Decorating Tips and Tricks. Today we were talking about what we won't have in our homes. We recently did an episode about the DTT dream homes and all the things that we would love to have in our homes that we don't right now. And today we thought, well, Anita thought actually, let's do the flip side.
No, it was your idea.
It was my idea?
It was. Yes, it was right. Yeah, because you were going to put it all. Remember, we were going to put it all in one episode, and I said, let's break it up. It's too much.
Right,
it's too broad.
It's too much. We have too much to say.
Well, that's right. So if you don't like that we're being negative, this one's Kelly's idea.
I thought it was such a good idea that I was attributing to you. So I guess it was mine.
Well, let me just qualify this, though.
Yeah.
These are things that we personally would not have in our homes, or we would not want them to be in our homes.
Yes.
Not to say that some of these haven't been at some point at some house. However, these are our opinions. And of course, this is an opinion show. So if you have these in your house and you like these, then great.
Yeah.
We're not trying to make you feel bad. We're just, sharing content about the things that we're not so crazy about.
Absolutely. Disclaimer. Yes. Footnote to that. Right. But, it's not like we're giving out medical advice and we're only playing doctors on this podcast. We are decorators, so we do have a good idea of what should be there and what shouldn't be there. But as Anita said, if you have it and love it, keep it if it's working for you. These are our opinions.
Well, and sometimes you have things because you can't afford to change it. But that's okay, too. And sometimes, it happens to us, too. We have things on a list and we just get to them when the budget allows.
Oh, my gosh. My budget isn't allowing list is getting longer and longer. I don't know. Something about the fall. I think because, all the years of being a student and then all the years of being a mom, January really is just for birthdays as far as I'm concerned, because that's when our birthday is, Anita. But September is when you really kick the new year off. I've always felt that way. So I really want to do things in my home when the fall comes around.
Oh, absolutely. And then that way everything's all set for any guests you're having for the holidays. So I get that.
And speaking of the fall, are you pumpkined out? What are you doing?
I just do my velvet pumpkins now, and I actually have a fall tablecloth I'm going with that's new. And then, I have all my fall dishes, and that's it. That's it. How about
I was thinking now that you're living out in the country, you probably can't drive half a mile without hitting a pumpkin stand or a farm stand. Is it like that out there?
I don't think I've seen any pumpkin stands out here.
Really? But, interesting. Okay, because when I lived out on the east end of Long Island, it was crazy. The fall was so beautiful. I mean, the corn mazes and all the things.
Well, I don't know if you know this. I'm in cattle country.
Oh, do they eat the pumpkins?
Well, I don't see pumpkins being grown. I see cattle grazing in the fields. I see big bales of hay and horses. Okay. That's what I see.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. See, I was picturing it a little bit differently, but I did see the bales of hay, which are so lovely. I saw them when I was at your house. Okay. Well, let's dive into what we won't have in our homes. Want to start?
Okay. Mid-century modern furniture. I just don't like it. And I know it was so hot. And I was probably the only one saying, ew, I just don't like this. But you know what? Ew, I don't like it.
I have to agree with you. It's just not my thing. I think in the right setting and for the right person, it's perfect. And there are certainly a lot of homes out here in California that really suited to the mid-century modern look. I just don't have one of those homes, and I'm not drawn to that. But I respect it.
Well, and I have French antiques. How do you think French antiques are going to mix with mid-century modern furniture? They're not going to play well together.
Yeah, not going to play well together. Even though you are quoted as saying many times you can slip in a little French chair just about anywhere, it's not going to work in a mid-century home, especially if everything else is mid-century, which tends to be the thing. If somebody likes mid-century, they tend to go all the way. So it's hard to slide in something else. You have to really have a bigger variety of furniture styles to be able to have just a piece of mid-century and a little something from France and, something from another country. So, that was not on my list, but I have to agree with you.
Well, and I think if you have a contemporary home, it would probably work, but it's just not going to work in my home.
Right. And just your heart is not drawn to it. I always think back to the famous quote from Yvonne, that what does a leather sofa look like in your living room?
Yes. Are you going to say it?
Well, I'm quoting her, Mom. So can I say it if I'm quoting her?
Yes. Yes.
It looks like a big turd. Yeah.
Oh, she said it. She went there.
She said it. She was, very lovely lady, but said that. So she really felt strongly about the leather sofa. And I have to agree. I don't love a big leather sofa, whether it's black or brown or even more of a camely or cognac-y color. I think it's really hard to work with that. They're usually really oversized, which is hard in a lot of spaces because they're not big enough. And I don't really get the fact that a lot of people think they're pretty indestructible, unless you don't mind it looking like it's really beat up. And that is a look. And, Restoration Hardware did that, and you got to pay more for an already beat up sofa for a period of time. But it's going to peel. It's going to puddle, which I think is where it kind of gets the indents. If you've got animals, it's going to be scratched for sure. Or even if somebody sits on it and then they've got something sharp in their pocket. And doesn't feel so great if you're sitting on it in a skirt or shorts, or it just doesn't feel that great. Or you're trying to take a nap on it, and I don't know. It's like taking a nap on a saddle.
You just roll right off. You just roll right off into the floor. Well, and that's the problem with the pillows too. If you want to dress it up with some pillows, they just slide right off into the floor.
That's so true. Oh my gosh. That's so true. I helped a friend once, and that we laughed and laughed and laughed because she had one of those. And she's like, I hate this thing. And guess who? Her partner loved it. And it was giant, and it took up the whole room, and there was really no way to hide it. And we were like, okay, how about some pillows? We went out and bought a whole bunch of pillows. It was a big, like L-shaped leather thing.
Oh, wow.
And we came back and we put them all on, and they sat there for like 30 seconds, and they literally all slid down, and then a few of them fall onto the floor. Oh, we just had to give up.
Well, I think in the right place, maybe a study, a paneled study. I think
stop being so nice. Okay, stop.
No. I'm just saying, this is my opinion, but I don't want them in my living room. No.
Yes.
And I did have one at one time, although it was in the study.
Right. And maybe a Chesterfield in the study. Yeah, maybe you could do that. And that doesn't really even need the pillows because it's got all that tufting and whatnot.
That's true.
Okay, what's your next one?
This one seems to go without saying, but I'm going to say it. Mm-hmm. Mini blinds? No. Mm-hmm. No, I mean, they just end up looking inexpensive. And again, there's a time and a place. If you're just have no money or you're renting, sometimes we have to put up with that. But it doesn't look good. So, I mean, I just don't care to have them in my house.
Yeah, absolutely. But, if they're there and they work and that's something you're saving for, that's fine. They do the job, but they're not the most attractive things. Faux marble. You know how I love marble. Mm-hmm. There are really not good faux marbles. So I would caution people, if you want marble, you just have to get your head around the fact that it's going to etch and it's going to get that French patisserie look to it, which I love. But trying to get close to a Carrara marble or another type of marble, I think you're going to fall too far short and it's just going to look fake. Pick something else. Pick a quartzite. Pick a quartz. Pick one of the composites that isn't trying to mimic a marble. I just think they can't get it right.
Let me say this about the quartzite, because that's a natural stone as well. We had that at our other house in a few places, and I thought it was beautiful, but it stained. I mean, there was some iced tea that went on it, that spilled on it, and it did not come out.
Really?
Yes. So, I mean, you really do have to be careful with these natural stones. And I know you say it doesn't stain, and maybe if it's sealed properly, it doesn't, but you have to be very careful. And I even had white granite, and it was sealed, but I think at some point the seal kind of wore off and some oil got on it. And so it looked permanently wet. So all these natural stones are beautiful, but, you do have to maintain them.
I'm surprised at that with the granite, because that's usually pretty impenetrable. I know you don't believe me. I wish you would, but I know you don't believe me. But my marble has never stained. This is never stained. It's etched. It's etched a lot.
Well, I believe you. I just know I have seen marble stain. I have seen makeup stain it. So maybe you have some magic marble. I don't know. That's some magic marble.
Yeah, you have to go to Magic Mountain and get your marble. Of course you do. Okay, you're next.
Okay, plantation shutters. And I liked these when they first came out because they were much more elegant looking than the mini blinds. They were very expensive. Now a lot of people still have them. The problem is they block the light too much. And to get the light in, you're going to have to fold them out into the room. And most rooms don't have that kind of clearance for you to be swinging them open and closed all the time, or the wall space, because maybe there's a painting or a curtain. So these are really hard to work with. And I hate saying it because I know people that have them somebody spent a lot of money for those. And so it's hard for me to even say that because we did buy them at one point, but I wouldn't have them now because they just block too much light. Even when the louvers are open all the way, it's still blocking about 40% of the light because of the rest of the piece.
Yeah, easily, because they have a pretty wide frame, and then the louvers, they just can open so much. My parents had them in a house in Florida. So there is a place for them if you really, really, really need that much sun blockage. But yeah, I would think long and hard. There are so many other choices now. It might have been a situation when a lot of them went in many years ago where there weren't that many choices, and maybe blackout wasn't what it is today. So if you're thinking about putting in window treatments and you really need a lot of sun blockage, consider some other options that are a little bit more flexible than the plantation shutters. But if you have them and you're in a place where you need to block a lot of light, it's hard to take them off. It's also expensive to take them off, and you can't really reuse them. So on to floating shelves. Ooh. Oh, I never liked a floating shelf. Oh, no. That's just a personal thing. They just seem so floaty, so ungrounded. You see the side of them. I don't like that.
Well, that's interesting. I would say they're not my favorite, but this house came with a couple in the kitchen, so I kept them. Yeah. They're okay. But yeah, not my favorite either. I get that.
Where do they float? Over the countertop or someplace else?
Yeah, they're over the countertop because I don't have any upper cabinets there, and they're not that big.
Mm-hmm. Well, you have some dishes to put up there. It's fine.
Oh, okay.
What's your next one?
Wall-to-wall carpet.
Okay, I'm going to cross that off. I had that on my list too.
Certain parts of the country, I can see it gets cold, or maybe you're in a different country than the U.S. It gets cold. You may really want that. That's fine. Where I live, I don't need it. It's hot all the time.
Yeah.
And we have scatter rugs. We have area rugs. So I don't need it for warmth. And I just don't like the look. So,
yes,
it's not my favorite.
Agreed. And it's just hard to keep really clean. And I have too many pets for that. So if I have to have a rug cleaned, I can just do it myself or send it out. Or, if you really have to, you can replace an area rug. It's hard to replace the wall-to-wall carpeting. So that's not something I'm loving. I think it also tends to date a home. Everybody's always thinking when they're buying or looking at homes, and you go upstairs and there's wall-to-wall. Surely somebody's going to say, pull up a little bit of that in the corner and see if there's hardwood under there.
Yeah.
I think you just have a lot more flexibility. That is something so permanent or semi-permanent. It's expensive to remove. It ends up in a landfill. None of that's good. Towel bars.
Yeah.
I don't like towel bars.
Yeah.
I would much rather have some hooks or something interesting to hang it on. I have a little sad story from just last night. I hear this crash. I think, oh my God, like what happened? And Ron says, Peter, are you okay? Da, da, da. Yes. Well, I had thought this was a genius idea and I loved it. I bought a standing coat rack for our bathroom to hang towels on. I may have mentioned this in a previous episode. And I had some of those striped Turkish towels for the show towels that were on there, not to be used. Thank you.
I hope he didn't dare use one.
No, because we would put our other towels, the ones that are in play, so to speak, on there to dry. I didn't want to put hooks on the walls because I put up some wallpaper and I didn't want a semi-wet towel against my wallpaper. And there really is no other place unless you're hanging it over the shower, which doesn't really look that great. I thought this is a great solution and it's clever and it kind of had this Victorian kind of design to it. Well, it fell over. Someone was being very rough with the towels. The thing came crashing down, so 2 of the arms fell off. Broke off.
My. Oh,
yeah,
no.
So I'm really now in a quandary as to whether I replace that or whether I just put the show towels over the broken arms.
Oh, my.
But I'm going to know. So anyway, that's my own personal problem. But that is a solution that I tried to come up with to not really having a good place for a towel bar or even hooks. Now, the reason I don't like towel bars is because nobody except my mom would go and straighten out their towels all the time. Most people
that's
come
for the
in,
show towels with the bath towel, the hand towel, and the matching washcloth to be hung there.
Did you visit my girlhood bathroom? Because that's what they all were.
And I've seen them. I've been there. Yeah. I've been at those houses.
And we were a small family. There was just 3 of us. We knew the unwritten rule. And you would just, you would just wipe your hands on your little seersucker shorts or whatever you had on.
Don't use the towel.
Don't use those towels. Just, air dry, whatever. Or you'd find another towel that somebody actually had been able to use for the shower and you would use that. You would not touch those. But those rules, they just don't play anymore. And a lot of people didn't get that rule book. So you're going to be a slave to your towel bar, or it's just going to look really bad. And it's wide. So I don't think it's great. Rings are okay. You can be a little more casual with a ring, but a hook is fantastic, I think. So that is my disdain for the towel bar.
Well, I prefer the hooks too. That's true. I guess I don't have any towel bars in this house. Yeah, I'm not that
those
crazy
cute little
about them.
Scotty dog hooks that we all
I do have those. Those are really cute. Yeah, go to Anthropologie. They have lots of cute robe hooks. Put those up. You'll be very happy. So while we're in the bathroom, those old frameless mirrors that take up the whole wall. No. And I see that they're back again. No.
Are they?
Don't. I've seen them. Yeah, they take up the whole wall and they've just cut out to put the sconces on there. But no.
But they're back, or they're just there.
Well, I think people are putting them in new houses now. Some, yes, I've seen them. Well, I'm just telling you, don't do it. But
Really? It just feels
well,
also like a little Vegas-y showgirly to me. I don't know. It's just too
yeah,
much.
yeah,
And
I don't like it.
oftentimes the bathroom isn't big enough. And so it's just overwhelming.
Oh, so that's a no for you?
Oh, yeah, that's a no. Yeah, that's a big no. And we're going to have an episode coming up soon, and we're going to tell you how to solve that problem. But right now, just it's a no, definitely. Okay. Oh, let's stay in the bathroom. Plastic shower curtains. There's no reason why you have a plastic shower curtain,
Yeah.
right? It just used to be like, oh, you have a shower curtain, and it used to just be like, oh, it's plastic, and the thing would come, and you'd be opening up, and you'd be like, what's that smell? Oh my God, this can't be good.
Oh, I don't feel so good. I feel a little lightheaded.
Right. Let's add some heat to it and see what happens to that
Some
smell.
steam.
Right. And then in an
really
enclosed
get all
area,
those
shut the
toxins
door. Yeah, that was good. Yeah, that was good. So, and you'd have that, and then you'd have the plastic liner, then you have the plastic curtain, then you have the plastic hooks, and it was all so bad. So you don't need to do that. Get rid of the plastic, and you can do a fabric liner. I'm sure they're not natural materials, but there's a fabric type liner that you can use. Some are antimicrobial, blah, blah, blah. But you can put it in the washing machine and then you can rehang it. Of course, that's a fun thing to do, but you don't have to do it every day. You do that every once in a while. And the front of your curtain does not have to be plastic, of course, and never had to be. So you can pick some yardage and have it made. Super simple. If you're like Anita, you can make it yourself. You can buy gorgeous shower curtains from lots of places. Anita's fave, Anthropology.
Yes.
There's a newish drapery curtain company called Pepper Home. This is when we've just had the market flooded with all these semi-custom curtain and drapery companies. Pepper Home is a new one. They specifically have a whole section just on shower curtains. They're really lovely, some with pom-pom fringe, various things. That is a great solution. You don't have to let a plastic shower curtain cross your threshold either.
Okay, next one. Probably pretty controversial. Microwave mounted above the cooktop. I don't like it.
Well, no controversy here.
But you see it everywhere. And because it's used as the exhaust fan too, but it's not a nice look. I hate to even say it because it's hard to change that if that's the way your kitchen layout is. It's not going to be easy to change, but it's just not a fan.
Not a fan. And the fan in the microwave doesn't really work. It definitely isn't enough fan for whatever kind of range you have under there. So there's so many reasons why that isn't good. Which number one, safety or aesthetics? Let's go safety. If you are leaning over a stove, particularly if it's gas, and you got a pot of something going, and then you're microwaving something, you're going to be leaning over an open flame, or you're going to be leaning over a coil that, unless you have, I guess, induction, you're putting yourself at risk. That's dangerous. And it's up pretty high. I mean, what's the average American woman is like 4.5 or something like that. Not great. And also really not great aesthetically. I mean, if you have a galley kitchen and you're in a space that's the only place you can put it, sure. Okay, that's what it is for now. But if you have the choice, definitely make the choice to put the microwave someplace else. It's safer. It looks better. It's going to have much better ventilation for itself because it'll have a proper space for a trim kit. Lots of times those aren't even in proper trim kits. And then you're going to have an opportunity to have a proper vent over whatever stove range you've got going on there to actually have enough of a fan to deal with the BTUs that you've got going on the cooktop. You don't really use a microwave, right, Anita?
Yeah, that's actually what I did when we redid the cabinets, was the spot where the microwave goes. I said, just put a drawer here. And I left the plug, I left the base. So all you'd have to do is take that drawer out and do a little cutout with a little saber saw, and you could pop that sucker right back in there. So I kept the microwave, who knows if it'll still work by the time we sell this house. But yeah, I took it out and I know people come over, they bring food for dinners, they bring a side or something, and I can't tell you how many times somebody said, "Where's your microwave?" And I've had to tell them, it's in the barn if you want to go out there and use it. Go plug it in too.
That's a personal preference that you just don't like microwave.
Right.
Using the microwave heat, right, sort of thing. So, but I adore my microwave and I love it. It's the drawer. Yeah. So I absolutely love it. And I think, they're not fully integrated. Maybe someday they will be, but it doesn't look bad at all. I had a lot of thought going into my kitchen because I had so much time to plan before we actually got into this house that it's in the perfect spot. So yes, that's, I think we covered all the things about the microwave and why it shouldn't be over the stove. In the kitchen still, you know how I feel about the massive kitchen island. Now, I'm even going to say a appropriately scaled kitchen island, I'm fine with. Yeah, I just don't want one in my own house. But if somebody wants that and it works in the kitchen, that's great. But there is somehow the tendency, or there was a time when people were making kitchen islands the size of ice skating rinks. And that's just silly. It's not a dance floor. It's not an ice skating rink. How can you reach across it? It doesn't really function. This is so great. We have all this space, but you have, 4+ feet in the middle that nobody can reach. What are you doing there?
The oversized ones, I would have to agree with you on, but I think this may be where we part ways.
I hate when that happens.
With an island, I'm not facing the countertop when I'm cooking, when I'm working on cutting things up or chopping. If I'm working at the island, I'm talking to people. I can see the rest of the room. Without an island, I'm stuck staring at the wall. So that's my feeling.
Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah, but point taken about the oversized. Okay, and then a bed without a headboard, that's not happening in my house ever again. If I have a bed, there's a headboard. And I think it just looks better that way. But if you don't know, there's a whole story about how I never had a headboard growing up. So I will not have a bed. Please.
That just brings me down for the whole day. I can't talk about that anymore. Little girl Anita with no headboard.
I know, it is sad. But I just think it looks better too. So it's not just that I felt deprived. So if you have a bed, I think there should be a headboard.
So what won't come across your threshold is a bed without a headboard, but a headboard is more than welcome, is what we're getting from this.
Yes.
I think we're back in agreement here. You don't want to buy a set of furniture, even if it has a headboard and nightstands and a dresser. No sets. We don't want sets in the living room. I don't even want, I can't speak for Anita here, but I don't want sets even outside. Break it up, make it more interesting. There's really very little inspired thought in a set that just comes, and that's the way it is, and it all looks the same, and it's all the same color. And you can do better than that. You're decorators, so break it up. Even if you have a set somewhere, dining room, living room, there's so many places you could have sets. Break them up. And I don't necessarily mean that look where, I have my dining room and every single chair is different. There was a time for that. I don't even know if that's really what we're going for anymore. But, we all tried that. But break up the set. If you have nightstands, maybe use them one as a side table somewhere or in a different bedroom. And if you've got a living room set, maybe take that coffee table out. That's the easy swap out. Even if all the other pieces are very similar or exactly the same, change out the coffee table. It's easy to break up the set. So if you've got a set, don't despair. You'll find another place to put parts of it.
Okay, I've got one more. And that is wood floors with the reddish stain. And we did have that in another house, and it is so hard to work with. I won't do that again. I mean, it's just really a rough color to work with.
It is hard. A lot of times we're asked during consults about mixing woods, and then we see what's going on. If that orangey red color is involved anywhere, even not on the floor, but oftentimes if it's on the floor, it's on the banister, it's on the newel post, and it's a lot of places. And then people want to bring in other woods in furniture. It's just very challenging. And it is somewhat dating the home. So I agree with you there. My last one is just a very little one. It's hand soap dispensers with the ugly labels from the grocery store kind of thing. You can do better than that. And that's so easy. just get a hand soap dispenser at Bed Bath & Beyond or on Amazon or somewhere and get a refillable jug of hand soap. You can get it at Whole Foods. You can get them at, I think even Trader Joe's has their brand, and just pour it in there. You don't have, I can't even remember the name of the brands, but you know what I'm talking about. Like it's purple liquid with an ugly label on it that starts to wear off, and the squirty dispenser. That's just an easy fix. So I won't have those. And if while you're at it, we could drill down, try to get something that's non-toxic.
Well, and I bought some Kath Kitson and some William Morris dispensers that had soap in them. And they're really quite lovely. They're glass containers. So sometimes you can buy the containers with the soap in them that are really pretty. And they're just happen to be packaged.
Oh, yes, you can.
Yeah.
Yes, you absolutely can.
But just look, right, because there's a lot of ugly ones. I agree with you. I don't want to see that. Yeah.
I don't want to see that if I don't have to. So what, I can't even say what are we defining anymore. What are we calling this?
I guess DTT history. How about a DTT history?
Okay.
Yes. So I wanted to talk today about, it's not furniture, but it's something in your home, the history of the Post-it note. Well, what? We all use them.
We do.
Okay. Okay. So
you can wallpaper your bathroom with them.
That's true. Okay. So in the 1970s, 3M scientist Spencer Silver was trying to develop a strong adhesive when he accidentally created a low-tack adhesive. He saw it as a failure at the time, but his colleague Arthur Fry realized its potential. Fry was in search of a bookmark for his church hymnal that would neither fall out nor damage the hymnal. And he was aware that Spencer had developed this adhesive in 1968 that was strong enough to stick to surfaces, but left no residue after removal and could be repositioned. So he took some of that adhesive, applied it along the edge of a piece of paper, and his church hymnal problem was solved. So Fry soon realized that his bookmark had other potential functions when he used it to leave a note on a work file, and coworkers kept dropping by seeking bookmarks for their office. So this bookmark was a new way to communicate and to organize, and 3M Corporation crafted the name Post-it Note for Arthur Fry's new bookmarks and began production in the late 70s for commercial use.
Fantastic. I am really obsessed with my crush. It is a gua sha. It's called the Infinite Relax. Rub it up your cheekbone and across your forehead. You can do your scalp. You can do your temples. It is so infinitely relaxing. It feels so good. Oh my gosh, you could do your neck. It's lovely. And it's like $17. Comes in its own little case. I tried to remember. I decided once I got it, I was like, oh, this is so great. And then I put it in the drawer and I kind of forgot about it. I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing? This felt so good. It's like me doing yoga. I'm like, every time I do yoga, I'm like, why don't I do this every day, even if it's 15 minutes? So I'm trying to do this every morning with my first cup of tea. Just sit there, sipping your tea, and then you wash on your face. And it's delicious. And you literally in 5 minutes, my eyes feel more open. It just makes you feel really good. And you deserve to feel really good.
So my crush is a lemon juicer, and this one is a little different. This one's very ergonomic. So my old kind, you kind of have to squeeze it, and it's metal, and it's kind of hard to squeeze down. This one actually twists, and you can use both hands, or if it's close, you can use one hand, but it's much more ergonomic, and it's this twisting action rather than a squeezing motion. It's less than $25. You can get it on Amazon, and I'll include a link. Well, thanks so much for hanging out with us. And remember, we're here to inspire you to create a beautiful home. Until next time.
Fabulous, fun, wow, even better than I had hoped or expected. These are just a few of the words used to describe a DTT design consult. We've been doing consults for many years, and boy, are we good at it. And people are loving the results of the advice and suggestions that we make for them. It's so easy to schedule a consult with us. Just simply go to our website, decoratingtipsandtricks.com, and click consult. There you'll be led through the very simple process. And sooner than later, you, I, and Anita will be discussing your home in detail. So sign up for a consult today. Let us help you design and decorate the home that you want and deserve. Looking forward to talking to you soon.